Welcome to the Honest Dog Breeder Podcast with me, your host, Julie Swan, where each week we dive in to discuss all things dog breeding so you can build a breeding business you love, producing dogs that fulfill their owners' dreams. I believe you can have an honest dog breeding program that also pays the bills. So throw those pods in your ears while you're cleaning kennels. I'd love to join you. Have you ever met a dog that was taken care of but not loved? I got a dog back, Tucker. They called on a Saturday after not hearing from them in over a year and said they wanted to return him. He was too much drive for them. When they dropped him off, they had everything ready. His complete rec records, a list of his likes and dislikes, favorite toys, treats, even a blanket from home. And when the owner was ready to leave, he looked at the dog, a mix of relief and failure on his face. Tucker wasn't in bad shape, even if I wouldn't say he was the epitome of what he could be. He was a little low in muscle mass at face value. He looked calmer, but if you dug under the surface a little, you could see that he was unsure. He didn't know what was expected of him, what people expected of him. They said he was so much, describing him like a wild dog who would climb trees in an attempt to get birds. Yet, despite having lower muscle mass, he was also strong, pulling me as I walked him into the house. Mind you, he weighed less than half my weight. I put him out with 2 GSPs, a senior and a puppy. He had no idea how to interact with them. He wasn't sure if he was irritated or afraid. After he got a little bored wandering around, I called him over. He didn't want to come. He looked at me like he knew he was in trouble again. It breaks your heart when you meet a dog who isn't quite loved. They know it. They know the people don't really love them. I opened the door and he came inside, went into his crate with minimal coaxing, and relaxed. Most dogs need a little decompression time when they are returned. Things will be different, of course, often busier at your home. But generally, they were under a lot of anxiety before they were brought back, and that takes a little while to get out of their system. As Tucker was sitting in the crate, staring at me, it hit me. Tucker was crated all the time. He must have been. That's why he had half the muscle mass he should have had. That's why he calms down in the crate, because that was when they finally stopped being frustrated with him. He was quiet, contained. That's where he got a break from the stress. His immune system was down too, as he had thinner hair around his eyes and his coat was oily from a lower quality food. The road ahead for Tucker was better food, lower stress, and rebuilding his trust that people are good and that he's not a frustrating dog at his core. He's a good dog, and we would have to help him remember that. Tucker is the perfect example of a dog who is taken care of, but not loved. His owners took him to every vet visit. They had food on auto ship. Sure, it might not have been the best food, but they never let him go hungry. By all accounts, they did the right thing by the book. You couldn't say they were bad owners. They didn't abuse him, and they just didn't love him. The truth is that when the fit is bad enough, the people will bring the dog back. But when it's almost bad enough, they might not. They may forever keep and take care of a dog that they don't love. Tucker was so close to being stuck in that for his whole life. While it is frustrating, sometimes depressing, when you get a dog back, the truth is that at least you then have an opportunity to fix it. At least they brought him back to you so you can see the misalignment in full color and learn. But why does this happen? In the simplest form, a dog goes unloved because there is a misalignment of what the dog is and what they thought he would be. They thought they would get a dog that was less driven, calmer, more cuddly, less needy, sometimes more needy, more confident, more or less interested in spending time with the owner. Temperament, drive, size, personality, energy level. There are a zillion ways a dog can be misaligned with an owner. And they all can lead to a mismatch in expectations that can turn into a dog that is tolerated but not loved. The highest risk for this comes from people who are good people, responsible, good owners, have stable income, and who don't project their problems onto others. These are good traits in people, but they can have them keep a dog that isn't right for them longer than they should, sometimes forever. Getting a dog back does not make you a bad breeder, but it does reveal that there was a problem. Anytime there is a mismatch between the dog and the owner, it's an ideal puppy buyer problem. unless there was a major unexpected life event that changed the buyer's capacity after the placement. Most of the time, when we call it a bad home, what we're really looking at is a mismatch that started before the puppy ever left. When I handed Tucker to his family on puppy pickup day, we were in a parking lot in Phoenix. It was hot, too hot to put him down. And he was a squirmy little puppy. Instead of laughing at the ridiculousness of a wiggly puppy, the new owner flashed a face of irritation and contempt toward him. He was already different than she had expected. I see many breeders blame it on the owner, but you have to ask yourself, if they are such bad owners, who gave them one of your dogs? We aren't blameless as breeders in this situation. Often, the deeper truth of the situation is that the buyer wanted the idea of the dog, the breeder sold the idea of the dog, but the dog needed a different kind of owner, just as the owner needed a different kind of dog. There are real exceptions, of course: divorce, serious illness, car accident, sudden family crisis, a major change that genuinely alters the buyer's life after the dog is placed. But most returns are not that clean. Most of them reveal something about fit, expectations, capacity, communication, selection, or the kind of home that the dog actually needed. That's the painful thing with taken care of but not loved. It's not usually one dramatic failure. It's the slow erosion of enjoyment over time. The dog becomes work. The buyer becomes disappointed. The breeder may never know. And the dog lives in the gap between what the buyer thought they wanted and what they actually had the capacity to love. If the dog was accurately matched to the buyer's real lifestyle, expectations, and capacity, the relationship should get easier over time, not quietly deteriorate into obligation. As breeders, we have to look at the part of the story that we controlled. We approved them. We educated them, or we didn't. We selected the puppy or let them select without enough guidance. We described the breed, the litter, and the dog in a way that either prepared them or sold them a fantasy. We decided what warning signs mattered and what warning signs we would overlook. The goal isn't to be mad at yourself. That's useless. The goal is to study the mismatch and learn. Blaming gives you a villain, but responsibility gives you an opportunity. You ever have a situation that happens to you over and over, and after the third time you're like, wait a minute, I'm the common denominator? At first it sucks, but then it's empowering because you realize if it's you, then it's something you can change. Honest breeders don't just say, that buyer failed my dog. They ask, why did I believe that buyer was the right home for this dog? And what would I do differently next time? Sometimes we placed the wrong dog in the home. Sometimes we didn't ask enough questions. Sometimes we missed a red flag or didn't realize it was a red flag until later. Sometimes we didn't prepare and educate our buyers well enough. At the very least, expectations were misaligned. And we have to look at what role we played in that and make the appropriate changes in our processes to remedy it. If this episode brought up a placement, a return, or a dog you still think about, I hope you'll take that not as shame, but as an opportunity to learn. Honest breeders keep getting better because they're willing to look honestly at the match. Thank you for listening to another episode of the Honest Dog Breeder Podcast with me, your host, Julie Swan. I know your time is valuable, and it means the world to me that you chose to spend some of it here. I'll see you in the next episode. If you found this episode helpful, please tap that like button. It helps me better understand you and supports the channel. If you're a current or aspiring dog breeder, I'd love for you to subscribe to the channel to be notified when new videos come out. Thanks.